Alright, I am Dr. A.J. Kumar, PhD. We are reading Genesis 3. Let me just start reading. So I'm going to parallel read the King James and New International Version. And I've done videos of everything previous. So, just as a reference, I mentioned this in the first one. I've never read the whole Bible, obviously. Read parts of Genesis, and that's it. I watched Jordan Peterson's Bible lectures a few years ago, and that's kind of what convinced me I should probably read the whole thing. I talked about this more in detail in the first video, so go watch that. So it's the serpent's deception. Now the serpent was more... Oh, there was one where I could read them in parallel. Yeah, let me look at this one. I was curious about this. And it has cross-reference. Matthew, that's in the New Testament, I believe. Corinthians. Revelation, that's at the end. That's the last one, right? Okay, let's go read it. Let's just read it straight through. It's a very long book, and I'm sure I'll read it multiple times. But anyway. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord God had made, and he said unto the woman, Yea, hath God said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden. And the woman said unto the serpent, We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God hath said, Ye shall not eat of it, neither ye shall. Here's what I'll do. This is the King James Version. And then let me blow it up so you can read it. Ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, yes, lest ye die. And the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die, for God doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took the fruit thereof, and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. And the eyes of both of them, this is kind of like the ignorance is bliss idea, like literally. They were in bliss, but they were ignorant, and given knowledge of good and evil, it's associated with shame, and it's kind of interesting. I'm going to have to read more about this anyway. And knew that they were naked, and that they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons. God arraigns Adam and Eve. And they heard the voice of the Lord God walking in the garden in the cool of the day. And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Lord God amongst the trees of the garden. And the Lord God called unto Adam and said unto him, Where art thou? And he said, I heard thy voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked. Of course, and I hid myself. And he said, Who told thee that thou wast naked? Hast thou eaten of the tree whereof I commanded that thee thou shalt, for Christ's sake, commanded thee that thou shouldest not eat? And the man said, The woman whom thou gavest to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I did eat. And the Lord God said unto the woman, What is this that thou hast done? And the woman said, The serpent beguiled me, and I did eat. And the Lord said unto the serpent, Because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly thou shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. The punishment of mankind. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. And unto Adam he said, Because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree of which I commanded thee, saying, Thou shalt not eat of it, cursed is the ground for thy sake. In sorrow shalt thou eat of it. What does this mean? 17. 17. To Adam he said, because you listened to your wife and ate the fruit from the tree about which I commanded you, cursed is the ground because of you, though through painful toil you will eat food from it all the days of your life. It will produce thorns and thistles for you, and you will eat the plants of the field. By the sweat of your brow you will eat your food until you return to the ground. Since from it you were taken, for dust you are, and to dust you will return. Okay. Thorns and thistles shall it bring forth to thee, and thou shalt eat the herb of the field. In the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread, and till thou return unto the ground. For out of it wast thou taken, for dust thou art, unto dust shalt thou return. And Adam called his wife's name Eve, because she was the mother of all living. There's a translation I have that has footnotes explaining what... Anyway. The expulsion from paradise. Unto Adam also and to his wife did the Lord God make coats of skins and clothe them. And the Lord God said, Behold, the man has become as one of us, to know good and evil. And now, lest he put forth his hand, and take also of the tree of life, and eat and live forever. For fuck's sake, what does this say? So it's kind of like there's it's almost like polytheistic. Maybe the Lord God as distinguished from all of the other gods. That's an interesting grammatical interpretation. Anyway. Behold, the man is become as one of us to know good and evil. And now, lest he put forth his hand, and take also of the tree of life, and eat and live forever. Therefore the Lord God sent him forth from the Garden of Eden to till the ground from whence he was taken. So he drove out the man, and he placed at the east of the Garden of Eden cherubims. I've got to look at the translation. 24. Cherubim, that must be a plant, and a flaming sword flashing back and forth to guard the way. Okay, yeah. These were the footnotes I meant. Yeah, I have the New International. Okay. Anyway. Thank you. I'll see you in the next video.